fan. You delivered the best line of any Marvel series with your facial expressions and just your cadence. I love your portrayal. And you gave her humor and you made her a relatable single woman in LA. You know, what were your favorite, now that the season's over, what were your favorite moments portraying Jenn Walters?
I mean, I always think back to like the very first day on set when it was just me and Ginger playing Nikki. And we were like in this booth in the bar, and she was like trying to help me swipe date. And we were just playing, and it felt so joyful and so feminine and so fun. And I just was like, oh, this feels like a different show. This feels like a different thing than we've seen before, you know? Then there were so many moments like throughout the season, but that was day one, you know, and it was just a joy.
Well, there's a saying that say we laugh our pain away, especially as women. When we're hurt, and we use humor to mask it. You know, Jenn went through some traumatic things like the sex tape and reveal and the privacy invasion, and I'm glad the ending was happy. It was funny and it was very She-Hulk. But will we touch on that experience for her eventually?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting. I think that moment is, you know, a huge invasion of her privacy and of her autonomy and of her everything, you know. And the thing that it elicits, which is a response of rage, that to me is an interesting where you know, Hulk can rage out and destroy a city. Jenn gets justifiably angry for this horrible thing that's happened to her publicly, and she doesn't even get to have that anger, you know. And I think that the cut off of that anger, the fact that we don't explore that is also telling, you know. It's like, how close to a woman's anger are we comfortable getting, and how close is she comfortable, you know, how close to her anger is she comfortable with? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I think it's a great question. And I think given, you know, if we had more time to explore that stuff, we could have gone very deep into it. But I think ultimately it was about touching on something that was very real, very visceral, very painful, and then being basically imprisoned for having a real normal human response to it, you know?
Yeah. On happier notes, because I know we don't have that much time, but I love this series so much. You have no idea. Like, She-Hulk has cameos galore, you know, from Bruce to Man-Thing to Wong to Meg Thee Stallion. You know, if there was another season 2 or opportunity to have another cameo, you know, who would you love to have either in comics or in real life? Like Timothée Chalamet, BTS, The Rock. Like, I mean, it is Marvel. They can afford it.
For sure. Oh my God. I love that it was Timothée Chalamet. I would love to see him in this show. I'd be so fascinated with what character he could play, like a little freaky character of some kind that I'm defending in court or like, you know, fighting against. That would be super fun. I mean, there's so many people who I would love to play with. I would love Paul F. Tompkins to be on the show.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
Right? Don't you think he would fit perfectly in it? To me, that's my dream.
Well, if it would be meta, Tatiana Maslany herself could be on the series too, as Tatiana.
Absolutely. This is a great point. I love that.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Huge fan, love the series. I can't wait for more from her, and I want to go deep into this because she is just fantastic. So thank you.
Thanks. I hope we talk again. That was awesome.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. And I just want to say, I knew it. There's something up with shady about Todd, like from the start.
Yeah,
but how do you feel about what Todd represents?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, just learning from the start, like, man, this guy is just shady.
I felt really I mean, as an actor, I was really excited about it, to sort of bring this this new kind of villainy into the MCU, you know, which it really hasn't been this sort of real world villainy that we've seen before. So it was exciting and Yeah, as much of a piece of a shit he was, I was really excited to get to bring it in, and I think I think I did a good job because man, people really hate Todd.
Well, for me, Todd, and for many others, Todd represents the toxic masculinity that,
Mhm.
She-Hulk and women actually deal in real life. And I know the writers had no idea, and you guys had no idea how parallel it is to the toxic fanboys going on right now. How is it for you to see this parallel from script to screen and kind of parallel to real life of how the toxic people relate, like how they reacted to the series as well?
I think it's pretty phenomenal to see how great Jessica Gao was able to spotlight exactly how they were going to react. Sort of the way that in that second episode when they're sort of going through all the internet comments like why do we have to have a She-Hulk now and all that stuff, and like in real time people were writing that, and so you're sort of like, bro, we're ahead of you on this. You're not saying anything new. And I think that that's the most amazing part about it, is that these things have been going on for so long. These people have been around now for long enough to where it's just a regurgitation.
Mhm.
And it's why it was so easy to access the the Todd of it all,
Yeah.
is because as as much as it's not like um a fun person to be, it's a fun character to play,
Mhm.
uh because you can just sort of tap into that because you're like, oh, it's right there.
Well, we all know a Todd or recognize a Todd.
Uh-huh.
Were you told much about his backstory as this rich misogynist, or did you kind of create one for him? And who did you base it off of?
um yeah, I think a lot of it was you know, eked out through the series. Like you sort of learn that he's this billionaire sort of when he sees She-Hulk at GLK&H. And that's a surprise for me as I'm reading the scripts. And beyond that, it was sort of just up to me and the director and the writer and the creative team all together to be like, how does he dress? What does he do? So at the end of the day, I think it was pretty exciting to get to create a new Marvel Cinematic Universe villain.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get to see him in the future. So thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to see more, maybe interact, because I think he has levity. So I'm hoping to see him with other villains. So he provides levity to the story. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
In the lectures, fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.